Welcome, everyone. Thank you a lot for joining. My name is Matvey Kukuy. I'm leading Grafana OnCall project, and I will be giving this webinar, getting started with Grafana OnCall. We'll walk through basics. We will do some deep dives in different parts of the product. And the goal of this webinar is to make you comfortable, and actually after this webinar, you should be able to feel too powerful to go and set up Grafana OnCall for you, your team, and actually use this tool. So before we start, this webinar is being recorded. Every one of you will receive access to recording. Please use Q&A feature in Zoom for questions. It will help me to see which questions did I answer, which I didn't. I'll also see the chat. So if you want to do some follow-up questions, feel free to use it. And I'm switching to the practical part. Yeah. Before I start demoing the product and connecting and configuring everything, I want to tell you about Grafana OnCall in general. So the purpose of Grafana OnCall is to collect alerts from different alert sources, not only Grafana Cloud. We allow connecting it with hosted Grafana, your self-hosted Grafana, other sources, actually anything, any service which could issue a webhook. It will group, parse, and deliver grouped alerts to multiple destinations to your engineers. So basic platform for us is Slack. We are adding new platforms. We recently added Telegram, working on others. And one of core features of Grafana OnCall is following on-call schedules. So it will help you to distribute your alert pressure between your team in order to achieve reliable incident response. So starting to show my screen. Where can you find Grafana OnCall? Grafana OnCall is available in Grafana Cloud only. So it's a cloud product. And I just signed up in Grafana Cloud. And you see this space is absolutely empty. Matvey Kukuy5.grafana.net. And Grafana OnCall is actually a Grafana Cloud plugin. So it's here. This round logo, you can find it here. And first thing we need to do is to connect it with alert sources. I'm jumping to integrations, and I'm creating an integration for receiving alerts. Here we have a huge list of possible integrations. If you don't see your alert source here, no worries. We support webhooks and webhooks with expected format. But if your alert source cannot issue a webhook in expected format, feel free to use this one. And I will show you later how to adjust parsing on Grafana OnCall source, on Grafana OnCall side. So easiest way is to connect Grafana OnCall with current Grafana Cloud stack. So I'm doing this, going back. And here it is. It connected with alerting, created contact points in current Grafana stack, and it will start receiving alerts from it to here. So let's go to Grafana alerting. And here you'll find webhook contact point. So that's what we actually created. So if you set up alerts here, they will show up here. I also want to show you how to connect it with self-hosted Grafana. So I prepared Docker. Let's start. So I just launched my local Grafana. And it's accessible in localhost 3000. Admin is default password. It's asking me to set up new password, but I will not use this instance for a long time. And for example, I want to connect this Docker Grafana with my cloud OnCall. So I'm going here to contact points, new contact point, choosing webhook. And here I need to specify the webhook of my Grafana OnCall cloud consumer. So I'm going to Grafana OnCall, new integration. I see this option, other Grafana. I'm connecting, I'm choosing it, and it gave me a webhook URL. So copy pasting, using it here, and send notification. And it should show up here. So that's it. You see, it received one alert in one alert group. You could add a lot of sources here. Zabbix, we give you instruction how to use it, how to connect it, Datadog, Stackdriver, etc., etc. Okay, so we configured consuming of alerts from alert sources. Now what we need to do? We need to set up escalation chains. Escalation chain is a set of instructions which will execute one by one after our alert group is registered. So alerts go from the source to Grafana OnCall. They are grouped if needed. It's configurable. And with those groups, we start to execute escalation policies one by one. So I'm going to escalation chain, creating new escalation chain. And for example, this is my SRE critical escalation chain, only for alert groups which require immediate response. And here I start creating rules. So at the beginning, let's notify me. After this, let's wait for 5 minutes. Then notify me again. And we have a lot of instructions here, which could help you to find comfortable escalation chain for a team. For example, we have such an instruction. This instruction will prevent the execution of escalation chain at night. So it will continue executing in the morning. So using this instruction, you could hold all your alerts groups if they came at night and start escalating them in the morning. Or we have round robin for it is useful for small teams. Where is it? Okay. Yeah, one by one. So just pick users, and every next alert group will be escalated to the next person. So it's like very basic instrument for distributing alert pressure between teams. Okay, so we have very basic escalation chain, and now it's time to connect it to our integration. So I'm going here and connecting it to my source. I could connect it to another source also, and to the third source. That's it. So you could edit it here. Please note that if you edit escalation chain here, it will be also edited for other alert sources. And that's the moment to think about more complex ways of distributing load. So if I receive alert from this integration, it will be grouped to alert group, and this escalation chain will be triggered. So every time I will be notified. But how to distribute load between times on distributed team? That's where our on-call schedules come into play. So I'm going to schedules menu and creating a new on-call schedule, on-call rotation. This is a schedule for SRE team. And we allow setting up, configuring on-call rotations a little bit differently from other products. We found out that it's very comfortable to use calendaring apps for setting up on-call rotations. So we allow connecting Google Calendar, Outlook, other calendaring systems to Grafana OnCall. So you'll be able to configure on-call rotations there using your mobile apps, sharing calendars between team members. So calendaring apps allow you to have good visibility of who is on call when. In my example, I will connect Google Calendar to Grafana OnCall. So I'm going to calendar. I created a calendar, which is shared with my team. I'm going to settings and sharing. Finding this secret address in iCal format, copying it. Okay. Putting it here. And here we allow pretty deep configuration how to work with this on-call schedule. For example, it will tell you in Slack if there are some problems, gaps, so you will be pretty certain in using this schedule. So we check, I think, all possible problems. Okay, so for now, our schedule is empty. And I'm going to my Google Calendar and starting to configure my schedule. I just create a slot and name it after the person I want to put on call. My nickname is Matvey Kukuy 5. So I'm going here and saving the time slot. Grafana OnCall downloads the whole on-call schedule every 10 minutes, but I can poke it just in case. So I click reload, and here it is. It consumed my user, and I will be on call from 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. We support all calendar features like repeats, custom repeats. For example, I can put myself daily, and Grafana OnCall will consume this, so I can check next day. Okay, tomorrow I will be also on call. Reload the calendar. If we put multiple people on call in the same time, all of them will be on call in this schedule. So I can add admin. And this will mean that from 6 p.m. till 7 p.m. only Matvey Kukuy 5 will be on call. But from 7 p.m. till 10 p.m., both of us will be on call. And from 10 till 11, me again. So this is how it will work. You see on call now 2 people. Also, we allow some magic here. By default, all users in on-call schedule are in level 0, sorry. We can add users in higher levels, and users in higher levels will override users in levels below. It's useful for overrides. For example, I have my schedule configured somehow, and I want to override only in Wednesday. So I add user, I type level, and I will completely override Matvey 2nd of March. So let's reload, go to this date, and you see that admin is in level 1, so only admin will be notified. That's actually it. So very easy thing to use. We also allow, please go here and check other settings. We try to give thoughtful explanation what it could be used for. Also, we allow configuring basic on-call rotation in one calendar and using another calendar completely for overrides. It's useful if you if there's one person in your team who is managing on-call rotation for everyone, and it's kind of solid, and you want every member having access to overrides. So you just go to Google Calendar, create new on-call schedule, add it here, and these all events from this calendar will be considered as overrides. So let's go back. Let's go to our escalation chains. And how do we connect on-call schedules with escalation chains? In a very easy way. On-call poking people from on-call schedule is just instruction in escalation chain. So I'm going here, choosing notify user from on-call schedule, and choosing the schedule. That's it. So once alert will come, it will be grouped in alert group, and on Grafana OnCall will choose current on-caller from this schedule and escalate to him. It will wait 5 minutes and escalate to me. Those instructions, they are in charge of the question who to notify, but we didn't touch how to notify. And I will tell about it a little bit later. For now, let's see how it's working. So I will start demoing, sending alerts. And before that, I want to connect Slack because Slack is, we have very good Slack integration. We spent a lot of efforts building it, trying, testing, and rebuilding. So in order to connect Slack, you should go here, ChatOps, install Slack integration. It gives you a warning. Please make sure you install it in the right workspace. So I'll follow the rule. Yeah. So I'm installing it in Playground. And here it is. We have some Slack specific configuration here, and we're going back to integrations. So let's see how it's working with Slack. For Slack, we allow configuring default channel to consume, to show alert groups. I'll pick Matvey webinar. So by default, everything will go here, but it's possible to override it in integration level. So we see default Slack channel is selected here. And yeah, it's time to go to Slack. Here's my channel. And let's send them alert. Cool. It's registered. And here it is. The philosophy of our product is to allow you, even multiple results. We really want you to be able to work with alert groups without leaving Slack. So by design, you should be able to do everything you need from on-call side here. So we add here multiple buttons. You could acknowledge this alert group. Acknowledge button will stop escalation, and if you unacknowledge, escalation will continue from the beginning. You could resolve. You could invite somebody to build a war room. You could silence for some time, and when this time will finish, escalation chain will begin start from the beginning. You could attach alert groups to each other and add resolution nodes. One of cool features we have, we build here live log of what happened and actually what will happen in the future, who will be notified, why will be notified, and which channel will be used. So we see in 90 minutes, it will call me by phone. I'll tell about it a little bit later. I can acknowledge, and this plan will update after some delay, and I can resolve the alert group. All those features are available from mobile Slack app, so it's pretty useful on the go. Okay, going to the next point. You could ask, how do you distribute your alerts between Slack channels? Because it does make sense to collect everything for the whole company here. And for these, and also for enforcing different escalation chains for different types of alerts from the same alert source, we have routes. I create route here. Our routes are designed for flexibility, so we decided to use regular expressions. We have a helper tool which helps you to figure out which alert groups will be parsed for, will feed to this regular expression. So, for example, for this regular expression, we use Python flavor regular expressions. All alert groups will feed. For example, if I want to use only, I don't know, only some specific region. So I want to create a route for alerts only from this region. I will write such a regular expression, and all alert groups from this region will feed. So I am creating a route. And for this route, I could use the same escalation chain, or go here and create a different one. And also here in integrations page, I'm able to change the Slack channel I want to route those alert groups. So, for example, I want to send it to test Matvey. And let me send them alert. It will go to another Slack channel. It went here. All this configuration is meant to define who to notify. And let's switch to the question how to notify. The question how to notify is up to user. So we let user to specify how he or she wants to be notified. And in your personal account settings, you have two personal notification chains. So for some average warning, I don't know, any alert groups, I want to be notified this way. For something important, I want to be notified this way. So we let users to configure it by themselves. By default, it's Slack, 15 minutes, and phone call for something critical. I usually prefer doing something this for critical, so I receive both at the same moment. And for non-critical, something like this. Here also, I can connect my phone number. So if I connect it, I will receive a SMS, and I will be able to make a test call. And actually, it will call me and pronounce everything from the template. I will tell about it later, how to configure what exactly to pronounce in personal notifications. Okay, so you may ask, how do we configure where to send alerts, here or here, alert groups? And we specified here in escalation chain, for each instruction where we pick a person, we choose default or important notification chain. So if I choose this one, everyone from this on-call schedule will receive notifications using their personal important notification chains. Yeah, let me check with the plan. What's next? And next is resolution nodes. So let's play a little bit with notifications. So let's configure default, my on-call schedule. Today, let's put me on call, go here to schedule, reload, and let's send them alert. Here it is. It's building escalation plan, and it invited me in Slack first, so it mentioned me. I will receive push notification. It's asking me to invite Slack bot here. I need to do this. Oh, interesting. Yeah, this way. And now I can, for example, I'm working with incidents, so I'm acknowledging it. I interrupted the escalation chain, and I started discussing what's going on with my colleagues. Some useless information, just panicking, something's got broken. And oh wow, I found out the problem. So it's Kubernetes pod ABC, misbehave, etc. So once I resolved the incident, the alert group, I want to store this information because it could be useful for the future. So I just go here and add it to the resolution node. Oops. And you see, my resolution nodes changed. So I can see that if I go to alert groups in web interface, is it this one? Oh no, it's number 8. I should unresolve it to see it here. Yeah, it is here. You see, here we see a resolution node from Slack. So we just could pick messages from Slack and add them to the database. We could filter by resolution nodes only, or even we could type something from here. Oh, wow. Cool. I added resolution node here, and it's synchronized and published here also. So we bidirectionally exchange the information. And this helps us to analyze our past alerts. So if we want to organize a meeting and see what happened last week, what was the reason? So we could filter by started that last week. We could remove filtering by status, include like resolved, acknowledged, new, and silenced, and filter by those who have a resolution node, and read them in the meeting one by one, analyzing what's going on, so we don't lose any information about past outages. I'm going to other features we have, so I will do. We almost there. We almost finished. We have some other features like outgoing webhooks. It's possible to poke other systems from Grafana OnCall, so you could recreate alerts from Grafana OnCall in other locations like Jira or GitHub or any other system using webhook. So we just create outgoing webhook here, republish to GitHub. Set everything here, create webhook. We go to Escalation Chain and add instruction to be published to GitHub. For example, we could do something like this. If incident wasn't resolved in 30 minutes, republish it to GitHub and resolve automatically. So it will disappear from open incidents in Grafana OnCall and show up in GitHub. And also one of the cool things we have is a maintenance mode. Once you set everything up or once you connect new integration, it could be pretty messy to test things out. So for example, I connect this Zabbix and I want to see how everything works, but I don't want to bother my colleagues, etc. So I just declare debug mode for my Zabbix. So OnCall will behave absolutely like normal, but it wouldn't make phone calls, it wouldn't mention people in Slack, but it will post messages to Slack and act like normal, but without bothering your colleagues. And we need to choose duration because we don't allow to enable debug mode forever. It should stop sometime. So we declare debug mode, and that's it. It could automatically stop, or we could stop it by ourselves. Also, this feature is useful for, it could be triggered from our API. So you could trigger it from CI/CD during the deploy when you expect a lot of mess from your monitoring systems, and disable it from CI/CD system. For this case, we have maintenance mode, which will collect everything to one incident. So whenever your alerts will go, they will be collected to one incident, published to Slack, and nobody will be poked. And yeah, I referred to the API, Grafana OnCall API is the reference is available in our documentation. So in order to access API, you need to go to settings. Here's the API URL, create new API token. And here we have full reference how to access your alerts, their body, how to access escalation chains, alert groups, integrations, on-call sheets. We even allow editing on-call rotations through API. So some users I know, they hack around some cool stuff, exporting their Google Drive spreadsheets to on-call rotations, etc., etc. Sorry. And that's actually it. Oh, one thing I forgot. I talked about alerts and alert groups a lot, but how do we group alerts to alert groups? And actually, there's a bigger question. How do we render alert groups? How do we understand what's the title, what's the body, and what to pronounce during a phone call? All this is configurable, and you could change it here in settings of your integration. We have it's pretty powerful instrument. It's based on Jinja. So we receive alert, which is actually a JSON. Here's an example. And we parse, we apply Jinja template to this payload and figure out title, message, what to pronounce during a phone call, what's image URL, and actually how to register this alert. For example, this is our alert payload, and this is a template for grouping. Alerts with the same result of this template, Jinja template, will be grouped to one alert group. It's like grouping key. So if I want to group by region, I go here, remove all of these, and access payload to see the result of rendering payload. I see labels here, tables, and I see region. So all alerts with the same region, they will have the same grouping key, and they will be grouped to the same alert group. I could group by region and alert name. Here it is. I could change what does OnCall say me when it makes a call. So I wanted to pronounce it, I don't know, annotation. So I use payload dot annotations dot description. So that's what Grafana OnCall will say me during a phone call. That's all. We went pretty deep into the system. And I think that's a moment for me to answer questions. I see 8 open questions. I see some chats in the chat. Okay. Is it free for 3 users in free Grafana on cloud tier? Yeah, let's talk about pricing. So Grafana OnCall is available as part of Grafana Cloud. So if you have access to Grafana Cloud, you will see Grafana OnCall there. And Grafana Cloud pricing. I don't want to make a mistake. Here it is. Yeah, for free, you have 3 users of Grafana Cloud. So you'll have 3 users of Grafana OnCall. For Pro, you'll have 10 users, and yeah, so, you need to pay some additional for each new user. But I can say it's pretty cheap. Can you generate daily, weekly SLA breach reports with mean time to respond to React? We are working on that. Have pretty nice ideas how to do that. It's not possible yet, but will be pretty soon. Is there an API endpoint that shows who is on call at the moment with their contact details? Let's say tier 1 would like to see who is on call, tier 2 at the moment for service X without checking their calendar. If you want to see who is on call fast, we have this page where with all schedules, we expose on-callers now. In our API, I think you could get current on-caller here in schedule API. Yeah, you see who is on call now. You need to make additional requests to the users, but actually using 2 requests or n requests, you'll receive the list of on-call users now. Will Microsoft Teams also support it? Stay tuned. I'm pretty positive about this. Is SMS supported? Yes, of course, we support SMS. Here in my personal settings, view my profile, where I choose how I want to identify it. I have 4 options. We're working on adding more options. So SMS is available here. Are there any limitations about the destination countries or phone numbers? We need to check this in our docs. There are some limitations with China I'm aware of. I'm not aware about limitations in other countries. It's my understanding that maintenance mutes all alert notifications. Is it possible to mute alert groups by groups, for example, for a specific cluster, filter by text? It's interesting. So you could silence alerts by groups forever. And how it will actually act? The grouping will continue. So it will continue grouping alerts here, and because if it's resolved and we receive new alerts for this group, it will issue a new alert group. But until this alert group is not resolved, it will continue grouping and grouping. So I think silence feature should answer your question. Is there any reporting on alerts response time? I answered before. Stay tuned; it will be available soon. Are you available to manually open incidents from Slack? Yeah, we have pretty cool features how to create incidents from Slack alert groups. So go to Slack, type on call, and here we allow creating of incidents of alert groups. Test and test. And it was registered under this integration, incident from Slack. So if you create routes here, they will be available there in a dropdown. So it's useful to distribute alerts between teams. So we actually created routes based on team names and connected to those routes escalation chains for those teams. Can this be configured via Terraform? Some of you may guess that that's one of the reasons why we created so full API. We're working on that. Can we get the recording of this session? Yes, it will be available for everyone who signed up. I think that's all. I see plenty of questions in the chat, but yeah, let's wrap up because we consumed a lot of time. So let me share another screen. Thank you for attending this webinar. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. I see a lot of messages in chat. If you want to continue the conversation, please join our Slack channel. The whole development team is there in Grafana OnCall channel in Grafana Slack. And also we answer in community.grafana.com. So in this forum, we already have some discussions about Grafana OnCall. If you want to see some features, if you miss something, if you tried and you can't live without some buttons, some feature, please let us know. We will be happy to build, or we will be happy to tell you where to find it. Thank you a lot. That's a pleasure for me to tell about the product in front of such an audience. That's all. Goodbye.